Namaskar. Today's discussion actually is very interesting. It's interesting for two reasons. A is, you see, in my life, and I have been involved not in politics but around politics for a long time. In my career, I have never seen a party decimate the way Trinamool Congress decimated. Absolutely never. Absolutely never. This has happened before. You see, Communist Party decimated in West Bengal before. So it is not that it is new to West Bengal or it is new to India. There are parties that actually got decimated. But the way it happened with Trinamool Congress, my God, never expected. Acha, it is not really the fact that it collapsed. The fact that the way it collapsed, days, hours after they lost, boom, everybody seems to be kind of, against the party. Everybody feels the party was corrupt and so on and so forth. Now, this is something that, we have discussed in our editorials and I've discussed in my articles and all of that. But I actually wanted to have another view, an outside view, a view from a person who knows TMC but is not associated today with TMC. And the person that came to mind immediately was Jawhar Sircar. Jawhar Sircar, who was a former bureaucrat, a person who has stood by his principles always. Jawhar Sircar was an MP of Trinamool Congress from 2021 to 2024. He quit his Rajya Sabha membership on a principle for a reason, because he thought that his party was not managing the governance well. So he quit. So I thought he would be the best person to talk to, the best person to understand what exactly went wrong. And believe me, the kind of insights I got, amazing. Watch it, and I'm assuring you, you'll enjoy this conversation. How did a 50-year experienced leader like Mamata Banerjee, she had no clue that this is going to be the way she's going to be decimated.
I saw her abysmal disconnect from 21 onwards. I found her becoming a little overwhelmed by this flashy nephew. And the nephew looking at us through the end of his nose.
It was like a gang. You had muscle power, you had goons, all of them associated with the TMC. Is this how TMC generally was?
Suvendu did not jump ship because of a 1 lakh, 5 lakh rupee case. Suvendu went out of sheer calculation. Suvendu now comes up and says, I will give you 20 seats of a subservient variety. He is giving them gift wrapped with giggles or archies, ribbons all, because he knows them.
Do you think Mamata Banerjee will come back? Mr. Jawhar Sircar, thank you so much for joining us. What a pleasure, Mr. Sircar, to have you on my show. Let me start my interview with asking you, if you were currently with Trinamool Congress, would you be a rebel MP or would you be part of them?
I'm the original rebel, if you ask me.
That's why I asked you.
I'm the original rebel who actually walked out after a brief stay. Because there is a very strong plus for the party and very strong minus also. The plus part of it is that it is geared to fight. It was geared to fight the Modi autocracy more than many other parties, street fightings. It was virulently opposed to the centre's policies and all that, and much more active than, let us say, even the CPIM in Kerala, where it came to real fights. The minus part of the party was that, like most other parties, it was centered around one person, and there was no ideology, no binder, no binding factor. They claimed to have that old Congress ideology of nationalism and all that, but I realized as I moved along that it was a lot of hot air. We found a lot of individuals, some of whom were committed to fighting communal autocracy, but most were there for a career, and that's where it gets problematic. Most of them were there for a career. I mean, they could have gone to any other party if there was an opening. Now, these people were stuck together with three things: power, number one; number two, the opportunity to enrich oneself. Most of them, not all, most. Power, money, and chewing gum. The chewing gum was Mamata Banerjee. So these were the three factors holding it all together. Then came Abhishek Banerjee with a lot of entitled snobbery and a lot of, let us say, unpalatable, domineering behavior without ever having fought on the streets for a single day. And he queered the pitch. He queered it from, he was around from 2019, just around 25 years old. Nobody even gave him much bhav. But from 21, he became very prominent. And that prominence was given to him by Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. In the 21 elections, I remember, state elections, I remember Modi and Shah concentrated, they spent around 44 days in one state when COVID was raging India, if you remember. They were not in Delhi trying to control COVID, but they were fighting Mamata Banerjee in Bengal. They started a sneering campaign against the nephew. The nephew here is called Bhai Po. Bhai, brother, Po means son, Putra. So, brother's son, Bhai Po, and they went hammer and tongs after him. After Mamata won the 21 elections, she decided that since Bhai Po is your beta noir, let me put him in front. So, she put him in front. That was 21. Till 24, he was under some sort of a restraint because basically Mamata was operating through, let us say, IPAC and other strategists. IPAC was then run by Prashant Kishore and it was reasonably professional. And 24 elections, if you remember, Prashant Kishore came out and said that they won't, 21 elections, they said they won't get 100 seats, 24 also, he said. From 24, we could realize that Prashant Kishore was not there except as a shadowy figure. Between 21 and 24, this transformation took place and Bhai Po took over. The nephew took over through a lot of other intermediaries. And that is where the problem begins. The official part of the problem begins. So, that is the story of Trinamool. But I would say that what is happening now is not so much directly related to the official stance of revolt against Bhai Po, against the nephew. It is more of an opportunist game. Opportunist game that suited both sides.
Mr. Sarkar, my question is again the same, what I started with. If you were a MP today, if you were a Rajya Sabha MP today with TMC, would you join the rebels or would you be with Mamata Banerjee?
I would remain on my own. There are reasons for that. Mamata Banerjee is discredited for a lot of things. I would not get into all that. I had raised this point from the time she invited me to become an MP and was a little bit of a, let us say, critical MP from 21, 22. 22, when Partha Chattopadhyay, the education minister, was caught with a pile of cash. I had to come out publicly and the party didn't like it. Saugata Roy said that throw him out of the party. I told Saugata Roy, I am not a member of your party. How can you throw me out? I mean, that sort of thing. So, you see, going with Mamata was a decision of taking one step forward in fighting what one calls communal autocracy, a communal-based autocracy. I was fighting alone. I was fighting court cases, fighting in public. So I said, okay, here is an organization that is officially committed to it, so let me be with them. And they found me useful as a speaker. Somebody who had experience could speak for the budget and all that. It's all right, up to them. And after that, when I found that unlike other political parties that are equally corrupt. Believe me, I've seen the system. Every party has its own wheeling dealing going on. Every party. I'm saying every means every. Here was something else. Here was a band of careerists who had come to the party one time through struggle. Many of them had struggled, like Akoli had been in the struggle, like many others had been in the struggle. And there were others who were never part of the struggle, like Derek O'Brien, Quizmaster, who comes in straight and said that this will give me better prospects than doing quizzing. So he comes in and then assumes leadership, etc., etc. This party, I found, was stuck together with only three things. Number one was power. Whoever came at that point of time after 2011 was basically looking for power. Power, whether OC of the police station salutes you, whether you ask for the municipal corporation to do something, they do it for you. People come up to you for favors. Power. Mercifully, nobody came to me because they realized I was useless. So, to that extent, I was saved. And number two was the capacity to gain things. I'll be a little more blunt. Many came for making wealth, especially at the councillor level. Every councillor has made so much money, it's completely horrendous. I know that municipal councillors and panchayats make a lot of money all over India, but Bengal was not used to it all. It was that way a saintly state, a peculiar state. So there, the second factor was making money. So many people made a lot of money. And those who were not, they looked upon as fools or whatever. And they contributed some to the party, must have. I don't know what the formula was, but they kept a lot to themselves also. So power, wealth. And the third factor was what I call chewing gum. Chewing gum means Mamata Banerjee, her memories, her charisma, her munificence. I see that after these MPs meetings, all the MPs standing up and fighting over each other to touch her feet. Touch her feet. Even big shot names that you hear in Delhi and all that, lining up to touch her feet. There were only three of us who didn't do it. I mean, obviously for obvious reasons. We are older than her, number one. And number two, something doesn't hit proper. Everyone else was there, touching her feet and sort of phoning over her feet. It's not part of Bengal culture. Bengal is an arrogant state. It doesn't believe in all this. So I found that the chewing gum factor was also very strong. Now, once any of these factors was affected, I knew the picture would be different. Now, all three are affected. Number one, they are off power. They realize they're off power. Even now, they're off power. Even after defecting also, they're not in power. But they have a prospect of getting back to power if they can make the right noises. Number one. They need that power. Without power, many of them will just sink and disappear like an overnight tree. So, number one, power. They need that power. They can't do without it. It's oxygen for them. They can't believe that the OC of their local police station will come to their houses and raid them or come with a warrant like they did for Chief Minister's house, ex-Chief Minister's house. They can't believe it. And they are terrified. Then, over the last few years, many of them have CBI and ED cases and other allegations against them that even if they have not been made into cases, can be made into cases in 1 week. There are so many allegations against them. So they're terrified. Then their band of followers or whatever they have are also known for their notoriety. So some of them are getting beaten up in public, and a new instrument of protest has come in, introduced by a completely vegetarian party. A completely vegetarian party has introduced a non-vegetarian missile in Bengal called eggs. I don't know what the central leadership will say about using of eggs. It may prefer tomatoes, but then tomato is a colonial product. So they might, potato is a colonial product. So they have to find somebody like Loki to throw. So they have started throwing eggs at them. Okay? They have started throwing eggs at them, and this frightens them. So the loss of power, and then comes the loss of capacity to go on, well, making hay, making hay. So they can get both of these back if they behave well with the BJP. And the BJP pretends as if it doesn't know them. First of all, the president of the party, Sami Bhattacharya, a good gentleman, he came up and said, no, we have taken enough defectors, no more defectors. And he put up a notice board outside the office. No more defectors. Now, these fellows said, who wants to defect? We don't want to enter your house when you have said no entry. We'll stay in your portico. Just give us some mats. Just give us some reed mats. We'll stay in your portico. We'll stay in your portico. So now we are in the what is called the portico stage. You have lots and lots of beds laid out in the portico, lots of chai going around in the portico. So, Mr. Nair, this militates against the very essence of democracy. People voted against them. Okay? Now, in a good sense, people voted against their corruption, against their, what shall I say, their brand of local extortionism, and they must pay the price for it. Even if they are my ex-colleagues, they must pay the price for it. If they have built up illegal flats and houses and they are caught, like one of my local councillors was caught before the elections, they must pay the price for it or fight it out with their ill-gotten money. But why is it a travesty of democracy? The people voted for the BJP for the right or wrong reasons in Bengal. And they voted against them. They were supposed to play the role of the opposition. They didn't vote for this lot to become the proposition. You see, so it's a betrayal of what the people had voted for. It is a travesty of the vote of the people within 1 month before the mark on our fingers have left us. Even the mark has not left most of us. So this is a terrible fail. If it had happened 2 years later, 1 year later, like Operation Lotus, Operation Karnataka and all that, Bellary money and all that, one could understand this is what's going on. It's happening so shamelessly. It's like the bride walking away on the night of the Suhag. The bride walks away. It's as shameless as that. That is hurting. That is hurting.
I wanted to ask you a question, sir. You had warned TMC that possibly they are bringing in BJP. They're helping BJP to come into state. You had warned 2024. I have read your quotes. You had told this to the then Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee. Sir, you knew it. A lot of people in West Bengal knew that the governance was not the way it should be. How did a 50-year experienced leader like Mamata Banerjee, she had no clue that this is going to be the way she's going to be decimated. She had absolutely no clue. How could that be? What was she doing? What was she thinking? What went wrong?
I saw Mamata Banerjee when she was 24 and I was 28, 27, 28. I was the magistrate sent to clear up a gherao outside a police station, and she was leading the gherao. So I have seen her from that day on both sides of the barricade. And sometimes we have been together on the same side of the barricade also. I've seen her. She was ill-treated by the Congress, and I can lay that on record. I saw her walk out to the Congress in 1996. She actually came up for a chat one day. And any bureaucrat serving under the left front government would be very careful of talking to her. But I was always a little careless in these matters. So I spoke to her. 2007, again, 1997, I joined as Chief Electoral Officer, West Bengal. The idea was to complete my thesis because we had elections in 1996, if you remember. And I said, no more elections, so let me complete my thesis in peace. God willed otherwise, so there was an election once again. And she formed her first party and she came very enthusiastically to show me her Trinamool symbol. And she said, Dada, please see to it that we are not dealt with unfairly by the overwhelming left front. We saw to it. We saw to it. Otherwise, she would not be talking. So I've seen her as a fighter, seen her as a person who was expelled. I've seen her qualities, and I saw her abysmal disconnect from 21 onwards. 21, 22 onwards. Abysmal disconnect. She started changing her numbers and stopped giving numbers to most people. One could always send an SMS to her in 22. Not SMS, WhatsApp message to her. Okay, this is going on. She would reply back in 15 minutes. I am looking into the matter. Or you please tell such and such. That was the speed with which she governed when we went to her. 24, 22, I found her becoming a little overwhelmed by this flashy nephew. And the nephew looking at us through the end of his nose. The first meeting in Parliament House in 21, 22, late 21, early 22, all the parliamentarians sitting and whatever he was saying, they were all nodding their heads. I was wondering what the hell is going on. So I asked a couple of uncomfortable questions. And Derek must have whispered to him, this is the troublemaker I was talking about, or something like that. So this was there. So if they had so much revolt against him, so much hatred for him, why didn't they open their mouth? I mean, many of them are well-educated people. Many of them are people who have some sort of character. Why didn't you show the character then? That's my point. By 23, I knew that I couldn't last in this outfit, and I quit. So, point is that she had started drawing up the drawbridges. She had started communicating through a gang of 4. I won't name them, but if you want, I can name them.
Was she withdrawing for or in favor of Abhishek Banerjee, or was she doing it because she wanted to withdraw? Was that a very natural decision?
She said that as long as she's there in her looming presence, Abhishek will not get a chance. So Abhishek was given some test matches to play. Net practice. So Abhishek started a dharna outside Raj Bhavan, where he commanded everybody to be there. Commanded everybody, including me, to be there on the dharna. Since the dharna was for an issue concerning Bengal's deprivation, I was also there. But the way he was sort of running it was there, and the aunt didn't even visit it for a single day. A huge protest going on in Calcutta, and the aunt was completely silent. So it could mean that the aunt had either no connect with it, or the aunt was watching at a distance how the nephew played, or many other things. So we decided that this is not for us. Anyway, as you know, blood is always thicker than water in India, at least. So we kept quiet, and I was told to give a small speech against the deprivation, and I rattled out the figures. So she was letting this youngster play, and the youngster was making a hash of it. I put it in no uncertain terms. He was making a hash of it. A very senior MP came down from the plane, and we were walking together, and he said, I was sitting next to the youngster. I said, then? I said, hello. He said, hello. And for 2.5 hours, he did not talk to me. That is not a way for a leader to talk. A leader could have pounced on the opportunity to go on asking him questions, to find out the history of what happened, etc., etc. 1 or 2 hours, valuable information seeking. That's what a leader does. This fellow looked the other way around, played around with his computer, closed here, looked there, that's all. This is not a leader. This is a corporate manager who did not go to the corporate sector, who would not be taken by the corporate sector, I'll be blunt. Not be taken, and he is imagined that he is controlling it through his computer. So the revolt against Abhishek is well understood, well What I don't understand is the late realization of this and the belated expression only after your power, wealth have disappeared. That is becomes suspicious.
You see, TMC almost more or less after 2021, like you rightly said, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, it was almost seen like an organized gang. It was like a gang. You had muscle power, you had goons, all of them associated with TMC. Is this how TMC genuinely was, or was that a narrative that was created? Were they actual goons? Were they actual gangsters on ground?
Both, yes and no. I tell you, it all started long before. It started when the CPIM was running Bengal with an iron fist. Iron fist. They had something called a dreadful institution called the Local Committee Secretary, otherwise known as LCS. If your secretary to the government asked an OC, he would say, "Sir, I have to ask the LCS." I said, "What the hell is the LCS?" He said, "Local Committee Secretary." I said, "Shut up. I'll talk to the minister and get it done." So that's the way they were running the show through local committees. Mamata Banerjee challenged this might. Unlike other Congress people, she challenged this might by organizing local boys. By organizing local boys. These local boys were local clubs, local, not ideologically, bound together, people who fun type, stuff like that. She organized them to blockade roads, blockade trains, etc. And she started giving them some funds from God knows where. But when she came to power, this lot of youngsters, street boys, some would call urchins, if you will, were rewarded heavily. From the official state coffers, they were given under the assistance to clubs scheme, 300, 400, 500 crores. More than that, they said this 300 crores is not required. You just give us the green signal for making a little money. So they turned out to be the syndicate. A dreadful word in Bengal, syndicate, means everything that you do within an area, the syndicate has to clear it first. It is almost like Chicago. The syndicate has to clear it first. So this syndicate thing started from 2012, 14, 16, it started. So it was there, but it was not so dreadful. What happened in 21, 24, that power transition, was the syndicates used to keep the money with them. Mamata never touched money. When she wanted to organize a meeting in Kuch Bihar, she would tell four of her leaders that you do the rostrum, you do the trucks. She knows how to do it. So they would do it from the money that they had acquired. That is the way I look at it. Nobody told me. That's the way I look at it. She had got this thing decentralized by these fellows who picked up whatever resources they kept to themselves for the local organizations. And if Mamata wanted some big program there, a protest or a meeting, they would pool it and do it. That's the way it was done. Decentralized setup, I called it Mansabdari setup.
This looks very much like running a gang, isn't it? So why did you say yes and no? Because this is the way gangs are run, aren't they?
No. But apart from that, this was still there, going on. This sort of a thing goes on in other parties also. Take my word for it. Goes on in other parties in some different form, a little different. Where the difference comes is from 2001 onwards, when this gentleman comes. He does not believe in decentralization, number one. He believes in total centralization. So he converts IPAC of Prashant Kishore from a strategy and consultancy to a 24 into 7 pyramid. Got it? So it becomes very expensive, huh? Very expensive. So the expenses have to be paid for. So expenses are gathered and paid for. Now this same pyramid for which the local guys pay then become their supervisors. They report back on them to headquarters, and young man is sitting there with the computer and his data and everything, looking at it. The Aunt went to every village. She knows everyone by person, in person. And there were some people who knew it, grassroots people. Mukul Roy, the man who was expelled. Mukul, I remember, was a computer. Mukul could tell me any village, any block, he could tell me which leader and what is his fault. He was a computer. He was expelled. He died out of heartbreak and things like that. Suvendu Adhikari, excellent organizer. He was there. He was eased out. People who knew a lot of organization skills, how to organize field level, they were all eased out by young man. Young man said, I've got iPad, I've got computer, you pay for it, I dominate you. That sort of formula. And that is where the rate started going up. Extortion started going up. And it became unbearable. This is the time Mamata Banerjee withdraws from the field. She closes herself. The formula we are talking of at that point of time was she is now looking for national ambition and she is running the state. The party she has get delegated to her left. You understand? She would look for national. So there was the three-way division, two-way division going on, which has proved to be very dangerous, very dangerous. All seasoned hands. I talk of somebody like Sudip Bandyopadhyay, around 80 or something. Sudip Bandyopadhyay has seen him for 60 years from Siddhartha Ray's time. Sudip Bandyopadhyay can't open his mouth. And he's a clever chap, so he doesn't open his mouth. You say you don't want, he has seen people from Indira Gandhi's days. Saugata Rai. Or he says, okay, you want me to shut up? I'll shut up. It's your funeral. So,
Sir, can I butt in here? You see, you spoke about Suvendu Adhikari. Suvendu Adhikari, well, I'm sure he must have been eased out. I'm sure Abhishek Banerjee would have intervened and all of that. There's no doubt about that. But then the fact is, he was also caught taking bribe on camera. The fact that there was tremendous amount of central agencies pressure on him, and that too got him to jump ship. So he was not that he was frustrated and he had a fight and then he went.
Most of them who were caught on camera stayed back. Kakuli stayed back. Saugata Rai stayed back because they knew that the case would not be anything so dangerous. Because too many people are involved. And this was a trap case set up by BJP, as you know. They knew what was the going rate. So, and they went in. So they knew. Suvendu was also caught on camera. So that explains that the level of, level of morality going on at that time. Suvendu didn't jump ship for that. No. That's a very easy explanation. Suvendu did not jump ship because of a 1 lakh, 5 lakh rupee case. Suvendu went out of sheer calculation. He found that there was a model called Himanta Biswa Sarma model available. You get a person from the outside party, he then becomes what is called convert. He becomes a greatly aggressive orthodox convert. You know what I mean? The jihadi convert. And he can do whatever he feels. He went on that formula clean. And he knew he had organization skills that would never be allowed to play as long as the youngster was around. Now, he got his revenge back by getting every member out, almost every member out, saying that this youngster is at fault. So that is Suvendu's sweet revenge, number one. But Suvendu also doesn't believe in small things like sweet revenge. That is for novel writers. He believes in terms that are more, let us say, economic to grasp and more political to maneuver. He has done Narendra Modi the biggest favor anybody has done after 2024. Think of it. Think of it. Narendra Modi got 240 seats. Okay? You can't run a government on 240. Its present strength is 292. 292 consists of two blocks. There's a block of 28 seats coming from TDP and JDU. They contribute 28 seats. One has 16, the other has 12. 28 seats. This 28 becomes a balancer and they're extracting a lot of favors, let's put it. Let's keep it official. Let's call it favors for the state. We don't know of anything else. Okay. Now they are putting it that way. Suvendu now comes up and says, I will give you 20 seats of a subservient variety. He is giving them gift wrapped with giggles or archies, ribbons all, because he knows them. He's gift wrapping and giving Modi 20 seats of a subservient variety. Whose deal is that they will not be attacked, that the vote of West Bengal against them is hereby nullified. No corruption charges will ever be lodged against them or their goons, the goons we were talking about. They'll go around with their scooters, excepting they'll stick a saffron jhanda in front of the scooters now. And they are militating against the very essence of democracy, but they are with the BJP. 20 seats solid as a package deal. 20, maybe 22 tomorrow. So you don't need the 28. So next time TDP asks for a call, meeting, Modi tells his PA, "Usko bolo, I'm busy." You understand? That's usko bolo, I'm busy. So that's the game. And Suvendu has cemented his role in the party better than Himanta Biswa Sarma. He will do his terror tactics like Himanta Biswa Sarma, and that is exactly what he's been doing for the last 5 weeks, smashing their JCBs, that JCB company. Breaking down hutments, showing them how to clear pavements, etc., not realizing that the intrinsic sub-economy of Bengal, where GDP per capita is one of the lowest, we are about to apply to the Bimaru states for membership. We are about to apply to Bimaru states for membership. They depend on this subterranean economy, subaltern economy. He doesn't realize this. So he's going around like, Are Baba, Himanta Biswa Sarma attacks only Muslim jhukis. Only Muslim jhukis. He attacks only Bengali hutments so that the Assamese keep clapping. Okay? They have a reason. They feel threatened. I have no saying on that. I'm telling you a factual thing. This fellow is attacking all and sundry. All and sundry. Number one, he militates against the vote of the people. Number two, he takes the rotters. Number three, he binds his own hand by not taking action against them. The people on whom we can take action is not limited to Kalyan Banerjee and others. You'll find that Kalyan has this fighting spirit. So the around him at the airport, called him chor, chor, chor. He shouted, he has a big voice. He shouted back saying, Suvendu is the chor, Suvendu is the chor. They all went back. So he has the limitations of target practice. He has limited his target practice now. But he has gifted Modi 20 survived MPs. Remember that. This is the biggest political development that has taken place after 2024. He's negating the 2024 results also. And Suvendu will get a freer hand as days go by. And the freer the hand it does, the more mistakes he will do. It's a thesis, antithesis, synthesis, Hegelian syndrome that will soon see. It'll be very interesting. Very interesting.
Sir, I want to ask you a very fundamental question. My question is, do you think, sir, that Mamata Banerjee will come back?
Mamata Banerjee is coming back now. Right now, the next 2 years or 3 years is out of the question. There is too much of inbuilt rage over a 15 years for people to forget so easily. Okay? People to forget. But remember, she still got 42% of the votes, 40% plus. Remember that. And Suvendu got 5% more. So, all said and done, the difference is only 5%. The difference is only 5%. You can't wish her away. You can't wish her away. It's not what a slog match. A slog match is in terms of numbers of seats. Okay? Slog match is not in number of votes. Now, if Suvendu behaves in a manner where the people feel it is not correct. The people of Bengal are highly alert. Highly alert. So he has to watch out. She is not done for. She's not done for. She's not done for. She has to do something about the nephew, perhaps send him to America or somewhere, whatever. She has to do something about the nephew. And if she seizes the party back, and God forbid, Suvendu makes series of mistakes, the things will be different. Joy, God, that will be quite a day for both sides. I don't think this will happen. I don't think it will happen. Because the Congress that is there today, no, I would not. I would not recommend that for the moment because Mamata Banerjee spent a lifetime breaking up the Congress. Okay? Her brand equity is not Congress. Her brand equity is Mamata Banerjee, which is higher than the Congress. Even now it's higher than the Congress. So she may not have got her seat. She has done terrible things not to get her seat and all that. But her brand equity is far higher than what the Congress is, number one. B, she cannot fit into any other organization. Understand? You can't get Maharana Pratap or somebody like that and say, hey, you are one more Jai Singh. Doesn't happen that way. So, and the Congress that has remained back in spite of Mamata Banerjee for 15 years, having suffered her, having suffered betrayal, having suffered this thing, will not accept. Bengal Congress will go to smithereens, but not accept. So it won't work out that easily. It's just a thought put in, for marination. The thought marinates over a period of time. But any preemptory jump for merger or something will harm both sides. Will harm both sides. It sounds good that Congress is rejuvenated under. Do you really think that she'll be able to take command from Rahul Gandhi? It's a two hardly meet. I'm not letting you into a secret. Two hardly talk. I've been there. Two hardly talk. They don't get along on psychological. Mother and Mamata Banerjee, they are okay. They are okay for very sentimental reasons because Rajiv Gandhi gave Mamata Banerjee the first taste of power. So she is indebted to Rajiv Gandhi and to Sonia Gandhi. Where Rahul is concerned, she has other issues, and Rahul also has other issues. The local Congress has other issues. Yesterday, I asked the local Congress ex-president. He said, oh my God. I said, okay, take a glass of water. So it won't work that. We'll have to find other solutions. The dice will roll. Dice will roll. Politics is a very, very dynamic game. So every day, this Suvendu takes 5 weeks to announce his cabinet members. Every cabinet member of Suvendu Adhikari's cabinet knows that he owes his seat to Delhi. So everything goes back to Delhi. That's one thing. So Suvendu has to be careful with his members also because all of them have the same, they draw their brightness from the same sun. So he has to be careful. That is one thing that is inimical to the spirit of Bengal. It just doesn't like to be dominated by Delhi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for talking to me. Such a pleasure actually having this discussion with you. Thank you so much.